Hello everyone, I am Arbus and welcome to Magna Mundi. First of all, some of you might notice that the map has changed. Over the last week we've discussed a lot about the map and we tried to improve it in every way possible. And now, even if there are some things left to be done, we feel that the map has overall been an improvement over the last one. And for that I also want to thank the community for all the comments and criticisms and suggestions, because all that feedback is important, even if we sometimes don't have the time and resources to do everything that we wanted. Now, for this second video I wanted to show you the tribal systems and how you advance from one tribal system into a more advanced form of government. I end up picking Kazan because Kazan starts with optimal conditions to advance to either an early monarchy or a theocracy. Now, both early monarchy and theocracy have as a requirement that the country needs to have a basic law. And what is a basic law? A basic law is basically exactly what it says. It's a basic code of law that regulates crime and punishment, property and military laws. And it's fundamental for any country to have a more advanced form of government, to have some sort of unifying legal system. And that's the first step towards a more advanced form of government. Now, I'm just going to move. So, starting with the budgets, one thing I'm just going to go over it very quickly. What I want to do is to weaken the nobility faction, because right now the nobility faction is hegemonic, and that means that they hold too much power, and if the nobility holds too much power I will never be able to advance. One of the requirements is that the nobility has an influence lower than influential, and I want to weaken the nobility so that I can have enough authority to establish that law. Now, in this tribal interface, there are also some things that I want to say. First, my ruler is Mahmudak, and he is inspiring. Being inspiring is a quality that all tribal leaders have, and it basically means the level of authority that they have among the tribes. Despite giving you positive modifiers, being inspiring, the level of ruler authority is sometimes necessary to enact certain decisions. Now here we have provinces, and in these provinces I can plan raids. I was going to say that tribal raids are a special function of the tribal systems, and basically they are province decisions that you can enact if you have if you meet the requirements. And what the raid does is a raid triggers an event pool, and the raid can be successful or not, and based on the success or failure of the raid there are some positive and negative modifiers associated with it. Now, unfortunately this is not working because of some kind of bug, but I still think it's worth mentioning because it's an important part of the tribal systems. Now I have the ulema that is saying something to me, and I will stand firm and confront his authority, whatever. What I need now to do is I need to decrease the influence of the nobility faction. This is fundamental to enact a basic law, and I'm basically waiting that the nobility faction loses influence. At the same time, I'm also waiting that my government knowledge level increases. And in the meanwhile I'm going to do some simple things like adjusting a budget slider. I'm also going this is good. My stability increased because I moved that slider, and with increased stability I can do new things. So I go here to this province and I'm going to the province decisions, and what I can do now is this: I can adopt tribal leaders into the Kazan ruling family. This is something that I can only do if I had INF stability, so it's a good thing that my stability increased. So I'm going to show you the difference each province starts. Each province has a relation with me. All my provinces I have subject tribes, and they are all friendly. In Ufa, what I just did now was I adopted the leaders of the ruling families in Ufa into my own family. So I went from subject tribes to familial tribes. Now the next step is to go from familial tribes to Enfeof. Is to go from familial tribes to Enfeof leaders. So with Enfeof leaders, I go to the next level of province rule. So now Ufa is no longer even considered a tribal province, because it's completely within my own control. The tribes are not only part of my family, their land is also part of my nation. And so by taking those decisions, I can move away from the tribal system, and I become a little bit more like a centralized state that does not depend on familial tribes. And so I'm going to do this for all my provinces, because luckily, as I said earlier, Kazan starts with optimal conditions to move away from the tribal system, and this is one of them. My leader is inspiring, I have stability, all my tribes are subject and they are friendly to me, and so I have all the conditions to go forward, and this is just what I'm going to do. So I was trying to weaken the nobility faction. I already have government technology level 8, but things just got a lot more interesting, because I had this terrible ruler, Khan Hulag Muhammad II, and he's terrible in every way. If we look here, he's a disrespected ruler, and now I just have the collapse of the tribal polity. Basically, my nation is in complete disarray, and instead of going forward, I am actually going back. I have a revolution brewing here. I will publicly torture the traitors. My nation is collapsing instead of advancing. I am now a tribal federation. I move backwards from monarchical oligarchy to a tribal federation. Okay, so now in this alternate version of history, I did exactly the same things, but my ruler, when he died, he wasn't replaced by a complete idiot. He was replaced by Khan Ibrahim I, that is not a brilliant ruler. He's an unproven leader, but despite that, the nation hasn't collapsed. I was able to increase my government knowledge after 2 decades of effort, and the nobility faction is no longer influential in my nation. And so I can finally establish basic law as soon as I get 100 gold. So I'm going to move forward to get 100 gold, and then finally I can do the right thing that I wanted to do since the beginning of this video. Actually, to be even faster, I'm going to factions, and I'm going to ask funds from the nobility itself. And now I am going to use the money of the nobles to establish the basic law. And after having basic law, I can finally institute early monarchy. And with this, I have advanced into the new form of government. I am now Sultan Ibrahim I. I have here new government options, and I managed to go away from a tribal nation to a normal centralized government. And with this concludes my video. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time.